Hi Society, welcome back to the Antisocial Planet. Today we're getting into some more Tower of God. I got too excited. Okay, I'm too hype for these couple of chapters because we ended off the last chapter with a Khun versus Rachel moment, and I am too excited for this, okay? Because I've been waiting this whole season for this moment. Not exactly, because there was briefly at the beginning of this season when we were focusing more on Bomb and Team Sweet and Sour, but the moment that we caught up with Khun again and I found out that he was with Rachel and he was onto her, and the searing rage that he felt deep down matching my own, I was like, yes, absolutely, I need this moment. And then after everything happened with him and his team and Rachel betraying them, I need this moment, okay? I feel like it's not going to be everything that I want it to be, because I feel like we still need to like ramp up to a proper showdown, and I do feel ultimately it's Bomb and Rachel, right? Like, that has to be like the end moment, whatever that point may be, and I feel like it's probably not gonna happen for a long time, because while I'm not caught up in the chapters, I feel like she's probably just gonna stick around for a long time. So I feel like she's probably still around in the story where it is currently updating. However, I do need a showdown between her and Khun, and I'm a little bit too excited for this moment. There better be some kind of payoff. I know it's not going to be fully paid off, but I need something before we get onto this train. Let's just get into these chapters because I need to see what's going to happen. Let's do the showdown. Come on. He better not chicken out of me. She better not run away or something. I need this moment. Yeah, I feel like an explanation is in order. Also, I need Dan to be part of this. Not fully part of it, maybe not, but I need him to look Rachel in the eyes and be like, yeah, not only did I live, but I'm still the fastest person around. I need him to be able to have that full circle moment. What is it? Girl, there's so many things to talk about. I do want to know. I guess I know why you pushed Bomb, but at least we have a full admission to everything that's going on. Yeah, I feel like she is very much going after what she wants, regardless of the consequences to other people. But I also think it's interesting just getting this interaction between her and Khun, because we've had so much of Rachel playing a character and having a certain persona or facade, and it feels like there's more of a genuine nature coming through more in this interaction. Like, I think there's still this idea of like her maybe leaning into the bad guy of the situation, but it does feel like she is more being what we've seen in some of the moments where she's by herself, as opposed to the more upbeat person that she seems to act at being when she's around other people. Yeah, fine, but I don't like it, and I don't like that you keep using it. He is a sweet little cinnamon bun who is occasionally deadly, and I would like you to stop manipulating him as much as you can. Yeah, I get it. You're a star. You want to be a star. Blah, blah, blah. Interesting to have the shadow go over her eyes, though, for that particular comment. I do like a dream on. Ellipses. Dream on. Probably not. Will he, though? Okay, that's the one thing. If we tell Bob everything that's happened, will he see Rachel the same way? Probably not. I think it'll still be complicated because there's so much intertwined between them at the early part of his memory. But would Khun do it? Is the question, because it's gonna hurt Bomb to know all that information. And would Khun do something that would make Bomb upset? I feel like no, even if it's the truth, because he's not, the truth is the best thing, right? Khun is definitely someone who's sometimes a little white lie is necessary. So I feel like he wouldn't do it. He can threaten though. Okay, I don't know if filthy trash is. Look, I'm here for it, okay? I don't like her. I'm fully on Team Khun on that. I think you made it his business when you betrayed him and killed members of his team. I think that's fair enough. Look at our boy. Love the confidence. Hope that he does a good job. I'm just a little bit nervous because Casino. No, it's not. We had a whole monologue. Weren't you paying attention to what his attack was like? Ooh, by the workshop. Always coming for you again. I guess because they took the scientist lady with them, right? Yeah, Miss Sophia. So she's gonna know more about him and like how his abilities work than anyone. I bet he's not gonna like that. I still don't know how I feel about her, because doing experiments on children is bad. However, I guess redemption is important and whatever. Ah, okay, control policy. I do believe that the workshop battles would be like, we need some kind of incentive that we can keep this in check. An antimatter bomb? That sounds intimidating. Oh, dang, it destroys you too? Be careful. We already know that Wangnan is willing to do basically anything to protect people. We saw that all the way back at like when we first were starting to get to know him. He is a bit crazy, yes, but he's on our side, not your side. So I guess you can believe whatever you want, but he's on our side, so we accept him. Also, love the line work around his eye here, especially since we had a similar panel earlier where he had less of that. I talked about this before with Daniel, where part of the art style that is developing at this point is having that sketchy line work when characters get more emotional. They become literally less stable physically along with their emotions, which I just think is a really cool way of putting that characterization into the art. And I love getting to see these little details pop up in the art as it continues to develop. It's really cool, even to just through the whole progression of the series, to see how much the art style has changed. I know people told me about that super early on, but it's really cool to just see it, because I feel like a lot of the time we get like these super polished end products of comics, and we don't get to see like an artist go through the progression of figuring out their art style and continue to add in these little things. Even just like the lighting choices between the end of season 1 going into season 2, there's like a distinct difference between the way that the characters and the panels are lit that is so interesting to me. Yeah, I don't need to last that long. I just need to take you with me. Cool panel though. Oh, we're acknowledging the threat though. If you hurt him, I'm gonna be very upset. And I feel like it's not gonna be as easy as you think. Yeah, you're not just fighting the one person, there's 2. And I'm excited to see her control her powers more. I like how she's like, excuse me, I have a name. And yes, she does. That's disturbing. Yeah. You've got a few very important opponents here. Can we talk about how there's 2 members of the Great Families here right now? 2 that have gone a little bit rogue, but let's just conceptualize what we've gotten ourselves into. They've got a couple of princesses of jihad in their group too. If we could just take a second to acknowledge the kind of firepower, literally and figuratively, we have at this moment. It just makes me so proud of him. Y'all be careful though. He is still an ignition weapon. We weren't serious before. We were literally destroying our body with antimatter. What's this one? Ooh. Does it transfer through the ground instead? Because that's pretty cool. Ah, we got combination attacks. We're working together. Look at us go. Team sweet and sour. Yes, will happen. Now that there's a chink in the armor, what happens if they attack right at that weak point? Dang, girl. Look at that control, though. Working with teammates. Confident. Love to see it. This is a cool panel, though. The lights, and then it darkens and fades out. I like it's just, there's probably a story, but whatever. As long as I get to take out both of you simultaneously. Also, not to interrupt everything, but isn't Yuta still currently boarding the train? Which is a bit of an issue because she's the main point of whether or not they can leave. So is anyone on that? Is anyone making sure that she's okay? There's also multiple other people that are just like standing around. What's Daniel doing? What's Angel doing? The girl with the wings. I am a little bit curious because we haven't seen any actual firepower from Rachel. We've seen manipulation, we've seen scheming, we've seen aftermath of her meddling with stuff going on, right? We've seen what happened to Khun's team previously, but we haven't actually seen her fight. We've seen her be in conflicts and have other people fight for her. But if it's one-on-one, what does she have going for her? Because I'm assuming she must have something because she's made it this far in the tower. You can't do that purely on relying on other people, because one, people in the tower don't tend to do much for other people without getting something out of it, which doesn't mean that she couldn't manipulate that, but it does seem more unlikely, especially since she's not part of the Great Families or anything. She does have associations with Foog, but it doesn't seem like enough. And also, what would happen if she did end up in a one-on-one confrontation? We've seen points where she's failed early on when she first got into the tower, and I think she wouldn't have passed. So it does make me curious. A one-on-one fight, no one interrupting. What does she have going for her? Yeah, okay, I like that we're acknowledging that there is boarding the train. Okay. Yeah, she has the lighthouses and everything. She has abilities, but I'm like, one-on-one fight. I feel like I believe Khun could do some damage, right? Him with a blade, close combat, he could do this. But I don't know about Rachel. Also, that's a very intimidating object. Did it just get... Khun, what do you mean, did it just get bigger? That is a significant size difference. Boy, you're smart enough to be able to figure this out. Did he just get crushed by a block? I know that it's not a block, but he better not have just been sandwiched. We seem a little bit tired, though. Just because she can do it doesn't mean that it was easy for her, or that she'll be able to replicate it. Look at him. See, like I said, Khun with a blade, I believe in his abilities. He's just, I'm using such a good knife. It is a little bit intimidating that he was able to cut his way through that with just a knife. I know that there's probably other stuff going on with it. We've already saw the little spark off of it. I'm assuming that is because there is some kind of shinsu or whatever involved with it. So I'm sure it's not just a knife. The confidence, the laid backness, the swagger. The change in his eyes though, the narrowing of it, you can tell that he's getting emotional. Even though he's putting forth this facade of being very laid back and carefree, this matters to him. He is emotionally invested in this particular meetup. Same, boys, same. Hey, that's what I was saying before. I'm like, how much can Rachel do without other people to help her? I'm assuming she can to some extent because she has made it this far in the tower. But at the end of the day, she is very reliant on the fact that she has connections, she has other people, she has a team surrounding her to do stuff for her. Dang, the like veins getting wound up. Is this one of the ones we haven't met yet? The like hooded person that was also there? Okay, so we have Daniel and Angel Girl still en route, which is why they are not participating at the moment. Yeah, but there's some stuff going down. Reconnect, but also there's some there's some stuff going down, Bomb. Awkward. Oh, good panel of her centered in his eyes, but also obscured still, because even though he knows it's her, does he really know her? Because the last time they saw each other, she pushed him off of a ledge towards a creature that wanted to eat him into like water. Like she not only left him to be eaten, but if he wasn't eaten, he should have drowned, right? That was the last time they saw each other. So the version of Rachel that he thought he knew was completely shattered in that moment. So even though he knows it's like Rachel, like physically there, he doesn't like actually know who she is anymore. I was hype about Khun seeing Rachel again. I'm less hype about Bomb seeing Rachel again because I know it's gonna hurt him and I don't want him to be hurt. But I also get that we need to like work out whatever is going on between them. Mostly because I want Bomb to move on. Again, I feel like Rachel is going to continue to be important to the story. However, I would like that to be in spite of Bomb moving on with his life and not relying on her the way that he has up to this point. Oh, I feel like this is going to hurt my soul. Yeah, what is going on? There's history. There's some stuff that they've been through. Yeah, also Khun is here, okay? Your BFF is also here. Yeah, no, he's going through some things. Wow, that panel, though, just the almost like stuttering, but also taking time to be like the way that he's so focused in on her. Yup. Also Khun. I'm just saying, your boy is also here. You better be sweet to Prince. I feel protective. Tiny Khun, don't hurt your teammates. Thank you. Look at my gentle giant helping people. I've adopted another one, okay? I officially adopt Akka as mine, which I'm hoping is how you pronounce their name and not as AKA. But I've adopted them into my collection of gentle giants. Welcome to the family. Yes, you are the same team. Right now we're like, oh, we're not teammates. Yeah, that's what we said about season 1 people and Team Sweet and Sour. And I'm like, y'all are all a team now though. Doing your own thing, sure, but you're all a team. Like just like all protect each other. I'm like, hey, Bodo, you alive? He's fine. I'm sure you'll meet again. Oh, okay, we took out the stairs. That is not ideal, but the stairs start again right there. If you can just get from here to there, you'll be all right. Yeah. Oh, Wangnut is also here. Yeah, you've got some also other friends that aren't just Rachel, but I get that he's like a little bit distracted by that. It is bad timing. And I feel like Khun is also like taking a pause, not just because Bomb is there and yay friends, but also because he's like, dang, I can't like do all of the stuff that I might have if Bomb wasn't watching me, right? Because he's, again, like I said about how Khun isn't likely to do something that would hurt Bomb in any kind of way. So if he sees his friend going up against Rachel and horrifically injuring her, if not taking it farther, because I don't honestly trust Khun to show some self-restraint in this situation, that would hurt Bomb, right? He's not going to do that because he doesn't want to do that to his friend. Yes, we also have Cassino. People, please do not get distracted. We're in the middle of something important. Thank you. Also, there seems to be something leaking from his arm, and that makes me scared because I feel like the armor was like containing the ignition weapon a little bit, and now it is less contained. They do seem to have, yeah, there's a story. Yep, there's some stuff going on, to say the least. Khun's on his own side at the end of the day. He's vaguely on some sides, but he does his own thing. Yeah, there's a lot happening. There's boarding the train. There's stuff going on with Cassino. There's also a story there. And then there's stuff going down with Rachel. My sweet boy, though. Do not manipulate him. I swear to God. If you do something to be like, let me just manipulate him so he lets me board this train, I'm going to lose it. And Khun is going to be with me on it. I do not believe for a second that he would let anything go down, regardless of what Mom said. He'd be like, for your own good. Ooh, I do think, I love that we have the what should I say to her, and there's a literal break in the panel. There's this connection here, but it's like he says this and it's actually disconnected from him because he's, I don't know how to even put together what I'm feeling or thinking, let alone externalize anything into saying something to her. Do you miss her? Or do you miss the idea that you had of her? There is a lot to ask. We had the similar thing with her being like, oh, Khun, are you gonna ask like this and this? And Khun's just like, not really interested. Yeah, there's some questions. There are some things that need to be answered. Are we gonna get any answers for that now? Probably not, because we have a train to catch. So I'm assuming she's not going to waste much time before getting onto the train. Girl, way to interrupt him, but also that feels accusatory. And also he's been doing a lot of his own stuff and growing a lot. And he has a bunch of friends. You're not the be all and end all. Yeah, great to see you too. Yeah, okay, no, remember when we were like, hey, how do I even talk to her? How do I even ask why she pushed me off? Yeah, she was actively trying to kill you. Let's deal with that now. I feel like Bum knew that in some part of him, was like, yeah, I was supposed to die then, because that's what she told everyone, and that's what all his friends thought, but it's different to actually hear it from her and have it to be like coldly stated of her being like, yeah, you shouldn't be alive right now. It's fine. Inner peace, meditation. I hate her so much. Great character. Hate her. Yeah, we also got this going on. See, this scares me. This alarms me. Oh, were we planning for that? Oh, because we're trying to capture him alive. So there is like a limit to what we're going to use against him. Do you have a netball in there? Because that might help. Not to make all of the Pokemon references, but it's too good. It's too spot on. You cannot tell me that CU was not like, this is because of Pokemon, okay? I already know that Dragon Ball exists in this universe, which makes me incredibly happy. But you cannot tell me for a second that Pokemon is also not canonical in this. But also look at her using her flames and fire ability and intentionally holding back so that nobody gets killed. That's growth. Yeah. Did she do it for her, or did she do it because of the workshop battles, which are definitely sketchy? Did she? Look, I don't want to side with Cassino. I really don't. But I also don't trust Miss Sophia. Again, she experimented on children, which is messed up. And I get that she acknowledges that, but she still did it. So I don't think she had their best interests at heart. If you did though, you would have just not treated them like that. We've heard what Beta went through, and I'm like, hey, maybe if you cared about the children you were experimenting on, you would have not let them go through those experiences. Maybe. Just throwing out ideas. Again, I don't want to agree with Cassino, but I have a similar opinion. I'm not saying she couldn't have a change of heart. I'm not saying that now that she isn't employed by the workshop battles and therefore there's probably a threat taken away from her own life. I definitely think that there was some threat or fear for her life, and that is why she was doing the thing that she was for the workshop battles. But also, she chose that her life in her own well-being was worth more than the kids that she was doing awful things to. And yeah, also she was like realizing her own ideals. There was like a whole thing there where she was like, hey, I wanted to create something greater, which there was like a hint of like going for a noble cause there, but also you don't get to decide that for other people or force children into fitting your ideals. Again, shady. I do that when Gun's like, yeah, I don't care about that. They've got like all this history or philosophy or whatever. I need you to help my friend. You messed my friend up, and that's all that matters. And I'm with you, Wang Nan. Honestly, at the end of the day, anything that gets Ouyang back to where he's supposed to be, which is the cuddly little teddy bear that he is. I just need that. Ooh, we injured him though. You should do that someday. It's good to know that's somewhere in your brain and you haven't just been like, look, again, I don't want to like Cassino and I don't like him, but Rachel was all like, dang, you were supposed to die and now you're alive. What's up with that? And Cassino's, oh yeah, he's just asleep and I should probably wake him up someday. Way to just miss the bar completely, Rachel. I'm just saying. If even Cassino was doing better than you, that's a problem. Interesting that he's almost like, I need this power. And I'm assuming that was part of it. Like he took Ouyang's power because he needed it for something. But there's almost like this death wish with Cassino. He has this feeling of wanting to sacrifice himself for a greater purpose. And I think that's part of what makes him, one, dangerous because he's already willing to risk everything for what he believes in. So if you threaten him with any kind of loss of life or injury, he's one, that's been my whole life. And two, I'm already willing to sacrifice that for what I want. It just matters of what point that happens in the journey. So it makes him like very dangerous. And also it makes him like unhinged because like I feel like everyone should have a healthy sense of self-preservation. And I feel like that's not where Cassino is at this point. Like he just has a single-minded drive towards something and he's willing to sacrifice his life to get it. This scares me. That's a bit of a philosophical question, Bomb, ain't it? It's quite a question to end up on, like when we're first meeting up again. Yeah, quiet. There's something going down. It is a very important moment. Oh, my sweet darling. If you make him sad, I'm gonna be so upset with you. Yeah, I do feel like this is gonna turn to mayhem. Agreed. There feels like this tension, this holding of breath of I'm just waiting for the moment when everything just goes off. Because if Bomb gives the word, everything's going off, right? Everyone's on hold because they know what an important moment it is that Bomb is meeting up with Rachel again and being able to ask questions and talk to her. That they're all just like, Khun is just like having a moment, being like, okay, let them talk, let them have a moment. But the moment that Bomb jumps into action and stops being like a state of shock, everything's going to erupt. Yeah. Oh boy, ending on a tense note. I don't even know how to feel at the end of those chapters because I went into it being like, hype, Khun versus Rachel, totally there for it because I feel like Khun externalizes what I feel about Rachel. And I was just like, yeah, I want that moment. And I love how smug he was. I love how unintimidated he was. I love how he could just read her. And I like that it bothered her. You could tell that one, she put in a bunch of effort to try and take down Khun. You could tell by like the way that she was like huffing and puffing that it was like a lot of exertion and it did nothing to Khun. It barely slowed him down, and how that bothers her because that was like her really trying and it failed. And we've seen multiple points where Rachel tries to have these moments of power and ability and control and something falls short, and you can see it really get under her skin because she wants to be special, right? Everything that Bomb is, Rachel wants to be like inherently special and she just isn't, and that's something that really gets under her skin. And then also the fact that he read her and was like, you can't do anything by yourself. And I'm like, yeah, she can't. I pointed that out of being every time that we've seen some kind of confrontation involving Rachel, it either has not been a physical confrontation, it's been more manipulation and scheming and doing things behind the scenes, or she's had other people to fight for her and she's participated a little bit, but she's had some more heavy hitters to do the bulk of it for her, right? Like all the way back at when in season 1, when we first got reconnected with Rachel with the crown game, she had Endorsi on her team. Right? That's how she got past that initial test with like the battle royale. And then that's how she got into the crown game. Having a Princess of Jihad fighting for you is a really good wild card, but it isn't actually her progressing on her own. Where even though Bomb has had lots of moments where he's had people on his side and he has had people to fight for him and with him, when it really comes down to it, Bomb can hold his own. He can do it by himself. We've saw the majority of the beginning of this season of him doing a bunch of that and trying to be on his own. He's not fighting with other people and working with a team because he can't continue to progress on his own. I feel like he probably could. It's just that he doesn't want to, right? There isn't anything to motivate him to do all of this if it isn't for his friends, if it isn't with his friends. He wants to be with them. Therefore, he is doing stuff with them and letting them participate in this journey and helping them with their own goals and aspirations, right? So he likes being part of a team, which is why he is. But when it really comes down to it, he can hold his own in a way that I feel like Rachel can't. I feel like she, given no help, could not get close to where she is now, let alone to her ultimate goals. And I think that bothers her so much because, again, she wants to be everything that Bomb inherently is. Bomb just is that powerful, is special, and an important centerpiece to a bunch of different things that are happening in the tower right now. And that is what Rachel wants to be, and she keeps inserting herself into these different situations because she wants to be inherently special, and she isn't, and that bothers her. And it's what makes her a good character, because I think we could all relate to not being special, right? Bomb has protagonist syndrome in that he is that special person, whereas the rest of us, mere mortals existing here in the real world, do not have that same experience, right? We know what it is like to be normal and mundane and to need help and to not be going on like grand adventures and stuff. So I feel like a lot of us connect with the experience of Rachel, and it makes her like more dynamic because she is like an average person trying to exist in this extraordinary world surrounded by extraordinary people and wanting to be special despite not being. And I think that we can all understand that experience, but also I just like her so much. I just like her so much. And if Bomb gets his feelings hurt in this, or something goes awry because she manipulates him or whatever, I'm gonna be so upset. I will give her at least some credit in that she did not try to put on some kind of facade or anything. She just faced the elephant in the room of, hey, I actively tried to kill you last time we saw each other. At least there's that, because if she did something trying to save face or manipulate him, I was gonna be so mad. I do appreciate that she was at least just straightforward with everything that was going on. But yeah, no, a little bit tense there at the end, not only because we're getting closer and closer to needing to be on this train, but also because anytime that Bomb and Rachel are in the same room, I'm like, ugh, because don't hurt my sweet boy. But we're gonna have to wait and see what happens. So I hope you enjoyed reading that along with me. You can click this place to go see my previous reactions, or you can subscribe to this next time I post a Tower of God video, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.